Hey everybody, I'm KK.
I'm Kristen.
Together we are K and K Crochet, and that's what makes up our channel. Yeah, that thing. This is a Kristen video because she came to me and I don't have answers for this, so we thought that we would reach out and see what the rest of the community had to say, because it's not something that I do, and this is her journey, and we thought she would like to share it with you as she begins. No, you can explain.
Okay. So we've talked about before that we don't knit. Mom doesn't knit. I have started knitting several times and stopped. But since we've done Bumblebee's Mountain Outreach, I really wanted to get back into it for the hats, because knitted hats are beautiful. All hats are beautiful, but I really love knitted hats. So when I started with straight needles because I had an abundance of straight needles, and I knew I could make up my own patterns doing it back and forth, back and forth. Well, then spring, and everybody has been doing them in the rounds, and I'm like, well, I have circular needles, so I tried it, but for the yarn that I'm using bulky yarn, and I figured out with trial and error that 44 cast on stitches is what I need to make a basic hat that will fit a teenage to an adult size. Well, with circular needles, they have the wire that connects the two. When I did 44, it was too short, so when I went to start the round, it would either bend the wire to like a point and stretch my stitches on both sides, so there was like a gap, or if I pushed them all the way around, it would create a gap where the round started, so then my stitches would either be too tight or too loose. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Is there something do I have to do? I don't know how to ask this. What am I doing wrong?
Is there a tip or a trick?
Yeah.
See, I don't know how to ask either, because I can knit. I don't like to knit. I'm not good at knitting. Like, I know the basic procedure. I can go back and pick up needles and watch a tutorial again and pick it up and go. But my tension is off. I would love to be able to, but I don't have the wherewithal to go back and try anymore. I'm just like, yeah, no.
Yeah. So I'm working on one now, which I forgot to bring in here with me to film. But I had to add, I think 4-ish, maybe, I think it may have been 6 stitches, which can make a big difference because it's bulky yarn. I understand with worsted yarn, even then, it's going to make a difference in how the hat fits. But I know for like people who make socks, like you can't have a sock that's the size of the wires, because that fit a giant. So what do you do? That's what I need to know. Do you just separate it and have the extra wire hanging out on the side and just go back and forth? I don't know. I need help.
I don't know either, because I don't know about knitting, but
for me, it stretched my stitches and made my tension off. So I don't know if there's a trick that I need to know to do. But I also don't follow tutorials, and that might be my problem. So
to be fair, because she's working on this now, by the time you see this video, we're going to reach out to Spring and get her input on it so that she has help. But we want you down below to give us your input and to give us tips and tricks for her, and like your best tip or trick that you know about knitting in the round.
Yeah.
Because she's been knitting for a while, but
it's on straight needles.
Yeah.
Which then I sew up the sides, which now I'm seeing my Spring and all y'all were telling me to do the round because it's so much easier. I don't have to switch back and forth between knitting and purling for each round.
Yeah.
And I really like it, and I want to use it more often, but I need to know what to do to not make the stitches have to add like 6 of them to make it fit the whole thing, which even with the 6, I'm still tugging and pulling, and my tension is still becoming off because I'm still having to work it around the wire because the wire is long.
And we do know that she can go watch videos, and like I said, we're getting input from Spring as we speak.
But I also want to hear from you all.
We want to hear from the community, and we want to hear your support of her as she continues to knit. I would love to see Kristen be able to continue with something that I quit. Now, that's not saying I won't ever pick it back up. I'm going to regret saying this. But I have had this little inkling lately that I really wish I could knit a hat. Really wish I could knit a hat.
Because I started it. Now you want to get back into it.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Plus, I'm not one of those people that's going to set for something that's going to take forever. And for me, knitting takes forever.
With a bulky yarn, it takes me like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I ain't about bulky yarn either because, it hurts my hands. So, it's not happening.
Also, I wanted to ask, do you all prefer doing hats on circular or straight needles? I know straight needles is more difficult because you gotta sew the sides, but I just want to get conversation flowing.
Yep. Give her some tips. Let her know your favorite tips and tricks for knitting, because I'm no help. This is the one part in life that I can't help her with other than to say, go talk to your Auntie Spring or your YouTube aunties, or go and watch a YouTube video, because guess what? Mama can't help her. So, anyway, I've never knitted in the round, so don't know anything about that. So we hope you have a great day. Don't forget to be kind, because
you don't know anybody else's journey.